I'm Carrie Sharp. Thank you for being with us. I'm joined by Jace Wilder with the Tennessee Equality Project. Works to shape our legislation here in Tennessee, and sometimes it can be an uphill battle. Jace is our education manager with the Tennessee Equality Project. Why do you love this work?
Honestly, because of the people I get to talk to. It is wonderful to connect with community members who maybe have also never met another person like them, that get to see that I am doing what I needed to see when I was growing up. And honestly, because the community in the South, no matter how hard it gets, like, we stick together, and it's just great. It's great to be able to have these open conversations and to feel welcome at the end of the day, even if people don't always understand. It's still important.
I think back even just 10 years ago, we were not talking about trans people, and that does not mean it didn't exist.
Yeah.
We were not talking, about a lot of these topics that are just every single day now in a lot of different avenues, which I think sometimes can probably feel like a curse or an uphill battle, but also it's in the spotlight now.
Right.
It's not in the shadows anymore, right?
Right. And it's excellent in that way, of the fact that, like, people know what it means to be trans now. Like you said, 10 years ago, even myself, I didn't know what it meant. I wasn't sure. Like, I knew what I was, but I didn't have a term for it. And that was the experience of a lot of trans people I know as well, where it's like, this word was never used. It was very hush. So they didn't have a term for it, but they knew that it was there. So being able to have these open conversations is still astronomically important and good for all of us. We just, have to be respectful about it.
If someone is saying, I think I want to dip my toe in, like, where's a good place to start in finding a community, and then on the advocacy front of it too?
Right. I would honestly encourage anyone to reach out to support groups that are welcome throughout the state. There's some with PFLAG that welcome parents and adults who identify as LGBTQ but maybe coming out for the first time in their life. For youth, there's work such as Oasis Center, which allows for them to connect with other young people that identify as LGBTQ. If you have a GSA, that is applicable to both adults and to our students. Go introduce yourself, go to a meeting, whatever it is. And then also connect with advocacy groups like TEP, ACLU of Tennessee, PFLAG also does great advocacy work, and just talk to us. Honestly, just talk to us. We are welcome to any level of conversation.
As part of Tennessee Equality Project, you guys spend a lot of time on the Hill just here in Tennessee.
Yeah.
Are you welcomed? We have a Republican majority. Are they open to having these conversations when it is one-on-one?
Yeah, so actually, for the most part, there are a few folks that I don't get to have conversations with because it is not considered always to be the best environment, or they aren't as welcoming. But for the most part, the majority actually are at least willing to sit down and have a conversation. They may not still come to the conclusion that I obviously want,
yes,
but they are willing, and they ask questions, and they have questions, and they do question the intent of, like, what's going on around them. And I find that very promising and very hopeful, especially as I see more trans people in Tennessee engaging in politics now, which is great to see, like, this uptick over the past few years. I think they're finally kind of seeing that we're not going anywhere, and that we are part of their constituency, and they're willing to listen and have the conversations.
I don't know exactly how to frame this question, but I don't see Tennessee getting any less red anytime soon.
Yeah.
Is there a way in a conservative state to make progress?
Yes, I think it's more about what we identify as our political agenda. Again, focusing on the climate of the century rather than the weather of the day. One of the issues I have with the current conversation is that it's very much one of those things that polls great right now, but again, like we could talk about even 2 years ago, it's like people were still saying, what is trans healthcare? What is all of this? And so I do think that if we can all kind of readjust where we're standing and why we're standing there, we can make progress, because I've seen it. We didn't have anyone in the House or the Senate for years that identified as LGBTQ, but in this past session we had two openly gay members, Tory Harris and Eddie Manis, that both spoke out on the issue, and Eddie Manis being a Republican. It's more about like, how are we identifying our party platforms? Because I think that there are plenty of things to disagree about, but people's identities just shouldn't be on the party list.
We have to take another quick break. We're going to come back right after this. Stay with us.